Hello everyone, welcome back to Hills and Hollers Homestead. I'm Mike. Today I just want to touch base on something. There seems to be revolving themes out there for things to prep for, things to come. And you know, from the very beginning I've said I'm not going to be doom and gloom, I'm not going to be apocalyptic. You know, real world stuff, true stuff that we've dealt with for the last 60 years. And that can be anything from floods to blizzards to tornadoes to hurricanes. Now, you folks in Tornado and Hurricane Alley are going to have to help me there because we just don't have those here where I live in West Virginia. And we have had blizzards, we've had earthquakes. That was fun. No, well, actually, it was centered in Virginia, but it shook us over here in West Virginia. You know, we've had bad storms, rains, floods. West Virginia is notorious for flooding, especially in some of the mountains and, well, everywhere pretty much, but I mean in the more steeper terrain and everything. I've been activated when I was in the National Guard. I got activated for flood duty and disaster response. I can't even tell you how many times. And, you know, so it realistically speaking, and now we've got the global pandemic, which, you know, some of us may have seen coming, some of us may have said, I think that's going to be the next thing coming, you know. That just kind of, it made it a game changer. And so, you know, the same thing applies. Make sure you have good food stores. Make sure you have enough food in the home, enough clean water in the home for everybody under that roof. Everybody who's currently under that roof, if there's a family of 4, then everybody, you should have 4 gallons of water per day. So 1 gallon of water per person per day. And I'll even up that ante and say get 1.5 gallons, because I'm going to add into that. Even if you don't drink 1 gallon of water a day, which 9 times out of 10 most people won't. Some people do, most people don't, especially kids. That extra water can be used for bathing. It can be used for sanitation. It can be used for cooking, and those are the things you want to watch for. So you don't end up shorting yourself. So I'll say 1.5 gallons per person per day. Same with your foods. Don't rely on frozen foods or perishable foods as your main food supply. Make sure you've got plenty of dry stores. You look at the last video I did, or the one before that I did on our little prepper pantry type of thing that we're actually going through and kind of reconfiguring and figuring some things out, because we got more and more stuff we're going to add into that. So those are the things. The most recent recurring theme that I've seen when I talk about this, I want you to listen to me with an open mind, okay? Sorry, making a turn onto my holler here. Listen to this with an open mind. Now, I'm 50 years old. As far back as I can remember, I've heard apocalyptic prophecy. When Ronald Reagan was elected president, there was a big freak out because somebody come on the news and said, hey, Ronald Reagan is the mark of the beast. What are you talking about? Ronald Reagan's the mark of the beast. His name, Ronald Wilson Reagan. There's 6 letters in each one of his names. 666. Ronald Wilson's the mark of the beast. Now people are freaking out. I said, oh my God. Of course, at that time, I'm too young. I was 9 years old when Ronald Reagan was voted into office. So then maybe like just a couple years later, and I remember this vividly because some of my friends weren't in school at the time, there was a church in our little community where we lived before that the pastor, because there was at the time historic wildfires in California, the pastor of this little church in West Virginia decided that it's the end times, God's going to burn the earth, and he's going to start with California. Everybody better get to the church and repent and spend your last days in the church. And I remember for a week or more, and I'm pretty sure more than a week, people pretty much lived at this church with this pastor preaching end times prophecy and all this other stuff. And slowly cars started leaving the parking lot after about a week to 10 days, and I don't think he come back as a preacher. I'm not laughing about it. I'm laughing at the situation. Understand that. Now, I am not anti-religion. I have my own personal relationship with Jesus and God. Okay? I have my own beliefs based on the things that I've experienced in my life, and I know what the Bible teaches me, not what somebody standing in a pulpit who might have an agenda otherwise. I do not believe that in any part in the Bible that God says You should amass millions upon millions upon millions of dollars and have and drive exotic sports cars and have, you know, three mansions and yachts. And he doesn't say that anywhere. And those people that are doing that and trying to lead people to salvation, my personal opinion of that is you're being led wrong. You're being led astray. Organized religion is probably going to lead more people to hell than it is going to lead people to heaven if that's the kind of message that they're putting out. And, you know, that's, again, my opinion, that's that's where a lot of these mainstream preachers are leading people. I don't have any specific affiliation with any particular church in our area. The last couple churches I went to and you know, tried to become affiliated with, the preacher was up in the pulpit giving a fantastic sermon. I mean, I was in high school then, and I remembered it. And he was giving just a fiery sermon. And they passed around the collection plates and everything. And his wife, the ushers brought the collection plates to him. And his wife sat there in the front row. It was 3 rows, and she sat there in the front pew. And she sat there and counted all the money in the offering plates. And she got up, and as I'm telling you this, she got up, walked up to the pulpit, took the microphone out of her husband's hand. Didn't say, "Hey, let me say something." She walked up there and took the microphone out of her husband's hand and addressed the congregation and said, "I am going to pass these collection plates around again, and I don't expect anything less than $5 from every person in this congregation." As I'm sitting here, she said that and handed the microphone back to her husband, and he went back to preaching fire and brimstone without missing a beat. I looked at my mama. Mom said, "You have the car keys?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Give them to me." She said, "I'll be in the car." And I said, "I'm going out with you because we're leaving together." And we never went back to that church. And this is a big church, big televised, you know, does local television stuff and all these other things. And yeah, so still in business, and that's what it is, believe me. And then the next church we found that we started going to, real good country folk, you know, everybody just salt of the earth and just, you know, good people. And the next thing you know, oh, we got to get more in the offering plates. You know, the preacher, he needs gas money, he needs farm tractor money, he needs this kind of money, he needs that kind of money. Okay, so yes, I understand tithes. You don't have to explain any of that to me. But what I'm seeing, so and I'll just leave it at that. Like I said, okay, I'll just leave it at that. You need to find a good church, Mike. Yes, I know. I'd love to find a good church to get my family and my kids in. I'd love to find a good church. Still waiting. All right. Anyways, looking. We'll put it to you that way. Anyways, so you know, I'm starting to hear a lot of Bible prophecy now on a lot of previously respected homesteading sites and channels and stuff like that, where people are realizing that things are getting worse and they're putting out this Bible prophecy that, you know, and it's the same story I've heard since I was a kid. And I don't know, folks, I'm gonna tell you something. The first thing that we are reminded of and warned against is false prophets. And somebody sitting on, anyways, I'll not identify anybody, but you're not going to convince me, because only God knows the time. Not even the angels in heaven know when God's coming. So, if you want to preach Bible prophecy, you know, you can look at everything out there, and you can tie this to this, and this to that, and that to this, and all these together into one, and I think you're going to end up with the same thing. And when you start...
Say or select a command. Canceling voice recognition.
Hit the wrong button. When you start preaching that kind of stuff, and I'm not saying people shouldn't have a little bit of fear about, you know, living their life right and having a relationship with Jesus and being right with God and stuff in the end. But when you start preaching this stuff, people who have a fighting chance are going to misconstrue that, and they're going to give up. Well, you know, we're God's people. If He's coming, what am I doing? I just wait for Him to come. In the meantime, family's going to suffer, people's going to suffer, things going to suffer. In the meantime, God ain't coming just because you think He is. So, I'll not, this will be the last, the one and only video that I'll discuss organized religion. And I don't care about your faith. I don't care about your faith. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care who you pray to. I don't. It's none of my business. My business is to live my life as best as I can, raise my family as best as I can, and provide for my family as best as I can. And hopefully in the end, when I stand before God, I can tell him that I have no skills or talent left because I used every bit of it that he gave me. And if part of that is reaching out to people like this and helping people learn, or motivating people to take care of themselves and do more for themselves and prepare more for themselves and be more self-reliant, self-sufficient, then by golly, that's what I'm going to do. You know, I tell people all the time, Lord blessed me with the ability to take care of sick folk, and he gave me a unique gift, and I use it. And like I said, when my day comes, I'll stand in front of him and say I don't have a thing left because I used everything that you gave me. So we'll leave it at that. Y'all take care. Please settle down the rhetoric a little bit. If you want to pray for people and you want to reach out to people and touch their hearts, you do that. You don't do it through fear mongering and using Bible prophecy over and over and over, because none of us know. And I don't care where you're from, where you sit, how long you've been doing it. You don't have any inside info on it. Anyways, that's it for today. Sorry about busting some bubbles and probably making a lot of people mad at me right now. But that's just how I feel, and that's what you're going to get on this channel. I ain't going to BS nobody. You know, if you're not ready for the answer, you really shouldn't ask the question, because I'm going to give it to you. And like I said, you don't have to like it. You don't have to listen to it. If you don't like it, go to the next channel, unsubscribe. But in the meantime, I do appreciate you all subscribing to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment if you would. There's an algorithm that YouTube has that the more likes you get, and believe me, I'm the last person to look for validation on anything, but with YouTube, you got to have so many likes, so many subscribers, so many comments, all this other stuff. So if you would, please reach out, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, share the video, share the page, help us out so we can help others. Take care, y'all.